Ever fancy a Cadillac? Check this one out. Named after the 18th century French explorer, trapper and trader Antoine de Cadillac, who was one of the founders of Detroit, the Cadillac Automobile Company literally rose from the ashes of the Henry Ford Company after Henry left in 1902. The new Cadillac Company established a reputation for precision manufacturing, reliability, and being better made than its opposition. Purchased in 1909 by General Motors, Cadillac became its prestige division, devoted to the production of large luxury cars. Superior engineering set Cadillac apart with the development of V8s, V12s, and the first V16, and helped make Cadillac the standard of the world by 1930.
And here, for the first time on network television, the spectacularly beautiful new 1957 Cadillac.
In the 1950s and 60s saw Cadillac firmly established as America's luxury brand over Packard and Lincoln, with sales topping 200,000 units by 1968.
Just look at those lovely lines. It'd be actually towers above this dream car.
In the 1970s, Cadillac continued to deliver record sales. But by the early 80s, petrol price hikes, the challenge of imported brands from Europe and Japan, poor strategic direction and corporate leadership, front-wheel drive platforms, power-sapping catalytic converters, and silly marketing forays into platform sharing with other GM brands caused Cadillac to decline in popularity. Recently, Cadillac has experienced an engineering rebirth and is currently aiming to make standard of the world mean something to customers in the 21st century. But let's take a look at what made this not only the world's most expensive car, but the most advanced in 1957.
It's a marvelous machine, but who's allergic to money? Apparently quite a few among famous people who want everything in a car.
The Eldorado Brougham was the first, along with the soon-to-be extinct Nash, with a 4-headlight lighting system, with the 2 outer lamps with both high and low beams, and the inner lamps with high beam only. The quad headlamp system spread to practically every production car in the United States and was the norm for the next 30 years. Comfort was the #1 priority in the Brougham, and the front seat moves fully back and down when the front doors open for maximum convenience on entry and exit.
Engineers were handed a free rein. They made a seat that adjusts automatically to position the driver. Power equipment is everywhere. Seats, steering, brakes, radio, windows, even the Vinapane works on push buttons. Also, the trunk can be opened, closed, and locked by controls in the glove compartment. It's a mirror of the actual future. The rear seat armrest contains a portable vanity, a perfume atomizer, and other desirable attractions. No smile?
When the transmission is in any drive position, the inside rear door handles will not open. If all American cars copied the big Brougham, Ralph Nader might have been out of a job. The Brougham's glove box not only held the boot controls, but was custom fitted with a cigarette case, tissue dispenser, vanity compact and lipstick, stick cologne for the bloke, and 6 magnetised silver finished drinking cups. The wheels on the Eldorado Brougham are not hubcaps, as a quick glance may suggest, but actually forged aluminium. Incredibly rare in the late 1950s, as aluminium was then very hard to cast. No wonder General Motors is reputed to have lost over $10,000 on every Eldorado Brougham sold. Even starting the big Caddy was a breeze for the late 1950s plutocrats. Just turn the ignition key to the on position with the 4-speed hydromatic transmission in park or neutral, and the fabulous Brougham would crank itself to life automatically.
The most advanced car ever put in production for those who can afford tomorrow's car today.
If the Brougham was the last word in luxury motoring, it was also a technical tour de force as the first production car in the world to have air suspension. This device on top of the dashboard isn't a ray gun from a Flash Gordon serial, but it's the world's first automatic headlight dimmer. Called the Atronic Eye and launched by General Motors in 1952, this controlled the headlight relay using signals from the dash top unit to select high or low beams, depending on approaching lights detected. Big, beautiful, expensive, and way ahead of its time, that's the magnificent 57 Eldorado Brougham. What about this? A 1947 Indian Chief. Built from 1922 to 1953, the Indian Chief rivaled Harley-Davidson as the classic American motorcycle. The V-twin engine started at 1000cc and gradually expanded to 1300cc by the time production ceased. From 1940, all Chiefs were fitted with large skirted fenders and the fringe saddle that made it an American icon. Handsome and comfortable, and with a sprung frame that made them superior to Harley-Davidson's unsprung rear end, Indian Chiefs were easily capable of cruising at 135 kilometres an hour all day long. A legend in the USA, the Chief's smaller brother, the Indian Scout, is probably better known in Australia for its starring role in the 2005 film, The World's Fastest Indian, the story of New Zealand racer Burt Munro's land speed records at Bonneville Salt Flats in Utah. Anthony Hopkins starred as Burt, and the Indian, well, it started itself.